لله نحمده حمدا كثيرا طيبا كما يحب كل ما حمد. هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق وبلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده وترك الأمة على البيضاء ليلها كنهارها ولا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك. صلى الله على نبينا وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. طيب إخوة وأخوات, let's start. So we spoke about shurutu la ilaha illallah, conditions of la ilaha illallah. We're just going to go over them inshallah, just a revision. What's the first condition of la ilaha illallah? Knowledge. The first condition of la ilaha illallah. Do you have evidence? Trying to see if you can...
From Surah Al-Isra,
go on.
Where the ayah, it could be talking about the group of jinn who people were worshipping them and they said that they worship Allah.
No, there's one talks about anyone. Do you remember? No. Dawood. فَعَلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا. That's the ayah. فَعَلَمْ أَنَّهُ. The ulama use this a lot. In a hadith, Abdul Kareem.
من مات وهو يعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله.
Okay, Hadith Uthman. That whoever dies knowing La ilaha illallah will enter Jannah. طيب, that's number one. Second condition of La ilaha illallah? Certainty, yaqeen. Okay. Give me evidence if you remember. No? It would be good to have evidence. Dawood? Yaqeen? Surah Hujurat. إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. That's a good one. That's the ayah the ulama use. Indeed, the believers are those who believe in Allah, and the last day, on Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and thumma lam yartabu, and they have no doubt in it. Okay, hadith, yaqeen.
Yaqeen.
من لقي أحدا من وراء هذا الحائط, go on Abdul Karim. That whoever meet anyone behind this wall, مستقينا, having yaqeen in la ilaha illallah, bashiruhu bil jannah, give him glad thing of jannah. So mustaqinan, having yaqeen in the iman, that's yaqeen. طيب, the second one, akhi, acceptance. That's qubul. Okay. Do you remember any evidence for qubul? Any evidence? Anyone?
La ikraha fi din.
Not that one. No. Do you, Abdul Karim? Qubul? Qubul. We're not doing act here, okay, so don't worry. No? You know, when Prophet went to the Quraysh, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا إِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. The Prophet went to the people of the Quraysh and said, the mushrik, when he went to the mushrik and he said, say La ilaha illallah, يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ, they will turn their back away. Meaning, لَمْ يَقْبَلُوا, they did not accept it. مَا فِي قُبُول, they did not accept, they have no qubul in that La ilaha illallah. So that's one of the ayah you can use. What's the fourth conditions of La ilaha illallah? Inqiyad. What's that?
Submission.
Submission. Give evidence? There are many.
There's many.
Yeah. Any evidence? Dawood? Inqiyad. In terms of following Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, submission. So any ayah that relate to submission. وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ. You know, many things. ما نهيتكم فاجتنبوا وما أمرتم فأتوا مما استطعتم. Whatever forbid, leave. Whatever command, do as much as you can. So these are inqiyad. So that's good. What's the other one? Do you remember, Akhi? Were you here? No, you're not here. Next one? You're not looking. Okay, go on. Yeah, in Arabic, what do we say? Sidq. Having sidq. Okay, any evidence from the hadith? Even one. Abdul Karim? Sidq. Sidq. This hadith, whoever says La ilaha illallah, being truthful in the heart, sidq, then except Allah made Jahannam haram for them. Sidq. The Mu'adh is the hadith sidq, having been sidq in what you say. The two more left. Ikhlas, sincerity. Give me evidence, inshallah. Ikhlas, Abdul Kareem. Ikhlas. One word mentioned in the Quran. Ikhlas. وما أمروا. Okay, that's one of them. Hadith. We remember hadith of ikhlas. We do condition of la ilaha illallah. So ikhlas is the one of the condition. Give me hadith. No, not that one. خالصا. No hadith of shafa'a. أسعد الناس بشفاعتي. The happiest person, acceptable person with my shafa'a is the man قال لا إله إلا الله خالصا من قلبي دخل الجنة. That whoever says لا إله إلا الله sincerely from his heart will be they'll get my shafa'a يوم القيامة. Yeah, خالصا. Yeah. Last one is one more. Remember?
You know what you're saying?
The last condition of La ilaha illallah. Which one is it?
Do you know what you're saying?
No, not that one. Mahabba. That's the last one. It could be any order, but that's okay. This is the order. Mahabba. There are many ayah about mahabba. Any? Do you remember any hadith of mahabba? No. Mahabba. No. أخي any hadith? Hadith of Anas. Abdul Kareem.
There's a verse in this is Surah Al-Fal. يحبهم ويحبونه. The Muslims are doing.
Yeah, you can read many verses in the Quran about mahabba. With some of them we covered. What's the hadith? Go on. The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. لا يؤمن أحدهم حتى أكون أحب إليه من ولده ووالده والناس أجمعين. None of you truly believe until I become more beloved to him. Okay, from his parents, his children, everything. That's for the mankind. None of you will truly believe until I become more beloved to him. Yeah. So these are several conditions of La ilaha illallah. There's actually 8. Shaykh Abdul Wahhab al-Wasabi mentioned the 8th one. Who remember the 8th one? Do you remember the 8th one? 8th one, Dawood? Go on.
Disbelief in the Tawheed.
Okay, kufr with Taghut. Okay, this is one of the most important part of La ilaha illallah. To disbelieve in false deities. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْوُثْقَى. Whoever disbelieves in Taghut and believes in Allah, they surely has hold the strongest grasp hold. So, believe in Allah, kufr with Taghut, and believe in Allah is one of the most important part of our deen. So that's the 8th one we covered. Kufr with Taghut. Tayyib, inshallah, we've covered that. So much to cover, but what we'll do, we start inshallah. Today inshallah we'll go over same chapter but different ayah now. Okay, before we start, one question. You know this ayah we covered, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ يَبْتَغُونَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ وَسِيلًا أَيُّهُمْ أَقْرَبُ. You know the end of the verse. This ayah has tafsir. Ahsan, give me one tafsir of this ayah. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ يَبْتَغُونَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ وَسِيلًا. Tafsir of this ayah. 2 opinions we mentioned. Dawood? Go on.
Is it how you're supposed to worship Allah in hope and fear?
Allah talks about those who people worship beside Allah, worshipping the righteous. They take them as a wasila. Okay? These righteous, they take wasila, they worship Allah, they hope for Allah's mercy, they fear Allah Azza wa Jal, and you worship them. So we mentioned 2 tafsir. Go on.
Like the Christians with Maryam.
Okay, talking about first tafsir is talking about Isa, Maryam, Uzayr, yeah, you're talking about them. They're righteous people, you worship them. Yani, on the contrary to that, they worship Allah, they fear Allah and all that. That's one tafsir. What's the other one?
The group of people who worship also worship a group of jinn,
Mm.
and then the jinn said that.
Then become Muslims, and Allah spoke with the jinn. This jinn became Muslim, they became righteous, and they fear Allah, they worship Allah, they hope for Allah's mercy, and you worship them. So that's two tafsir of this is the two tafsir of this ayah. Naam. طيب, let's go to the verse inshallah. Okay, next verse Shaykhul-Islam brings, which is about tafsir of Tawheed, which is about explaining Tawheed, explaining La ilaha illallah. Allah said, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُوا مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Surah Al-Baqarah, ayah 165. Among the people, the kuffar, okay, they've taken partners with Allah Azza wa Jalla. And that partners, how they've taken the partners? يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ. They will love them. And this ayah talking about the kuffar. We're talking about mahabba here now. Mahabba is one of the important part of our deen. And to love somebody other than Allah, more than Allah, it is a shirk. So Allah Azza wa Jalla is narrating to us, okay, that mushrikun, they used to worship idols, okay, and they would love the idols much as they would love Allah. That's one of the tafsir. So the tafsir says that the mushrikun, they love Allah and they love the idols. But the love of Allah and love of idol was similar to them. Okay? The love of Allah and love of idol was similar to them. That's one of the tafsir. Second tafsir is that the mushrikun, they love their idols as much as the believers loved Allah. Okay, that's the next second tafsir of this ayah. So here, loving Allah Azza wa Jal have to be greater than loving anything else. And loving Allah and loving the creation, if you make it likeness, is shirk, but if it's not a shirk. We'll talk about the shirk inshallah, shirk fil mahabba, shirk in mahabba, in love. طيب. So what is the difference between loving Allah and loving your family or whatever, your friends for sake of Allah? What is the difference? The ulama say the difference is that when you love Allah which has two things, khudu wa tadhallul, humiliation and humbleness. That necessitates that you worship Allah Azza wa Jal. That love of Allah that makes you worship Him. But when you love your friend, your brothers and your sisters, you don't have khudu, you don't have tadhallul, you don't have the humility in front of them. You just love them for sake of Allah. You don't worship them in that sense. Tayyib? So, but these people, they loved idols, they worshipped the idols. Okay? And they loved Allah as well. But the ulama said if they really loved Allah Azza wa Jal, they would not worship idols, they would worship Allah Azza wa Jal. Love of Allah should necessitate that you worship Him alone without ascribing any partners to Allah Azza wa Jal. So you got different types of love. You got the ulama says the natural love that we have, okay, which is love that one loves each other for the sake of Allah. A man came to Prophet and said, Ya Rasul, who do you love most from the mankind? He said, Abu Bakr. And who do you love most from your wife? He said, Aisha. So Sahabas, Prophet had loved one over another. He loved his wife one over another, over his wife, over his another wife. So that's a natural love that he had for the companion. He said to Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, Ya Mu'adh, inni uhibbuka fillah, Ya Mu'adh, I love you for the sake of Allah. So he had love for the companion. So this is a natural love that they had for the sake of Allah. But they did not have tadhallul and khudu, meaning he did not become humble in front of them, humility, which means that he worshipped them. La, that's only for Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's a natural love that we have. Second type of love, which is shirk, okay, that leads you to worship other than Allah, which means that your love of Allah become lesser than the love of the creation, the idol, things like that. So these are different level of love. this ayah talking about. So this ayah talking about shirk in what? Mahabba. Tayyib. So how is this ayah? How does this ayah فيها توحيد? In this ayah there is a tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. How is it? Okay, now Mahabba is the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal, isn't it? It's the worship of Allah, and if it's a worship, it should be done only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? So, and Allah Azza wa Jal, if it's not loved more than everything else, then it will become shirk. It will become shirk like the mushrikun, they loved Allah and the others similar. Okay? And the mahabba is the asas of our deen. So, for you to love somebody other than Allah, or to love somebody more than Allah Azza wa Jal, your idol, whatever, then you've made andad, you've made partner with Allah Azza wa Jal, because you've turned the worship other than Allah. Okay? That's why this ayah, in it is the tawheed of Allah, because mahabba is ibadah, and ibadah is only for Allah Azza wa Jal, and it shouldn't be turned other than Allah Azza wa Jal. And Shaykh here says as well, فَوَجْهُ الذِّكْرِ الْمَحَبَّةِ هُنَا أَنَّ الْمَحَبَّةَ نَوْعٌ مِنْ أَنْوَاعِ الْعِبَادَةِ. So the reason the Shaykh mentions the mahabba here, because mahabba is one of the type of worship. فَلَمَّا لَمْ يُفْرِدُ اللَّهَ بِهَذِهِ الْعِبَادَةِ. And if the person does not make Allah single in his worship, صَارَ مُتَّخِذِينَ أَنْدَادٍ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ. Then he has taken partners with Allah Azza wa Jal. He has taken partner with Allah Azza wa Jal. وَهَذَا مَعْنَى تَوْحِيد مَعْنَى شَهَادَةً لَا إِلَهَ. This is the meaning of La ilaha illallah. So the tawheed of Allah is that we should love Allah more than anything, and that's tawheed. And not to love Allah more than anything, it is not tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. So that's what we learn from this ayah. The next ayah, next hadith in fact, okay, have we done this ayah? اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله. Have you done this? They've taken their rabbis and monks, Lord, beside Allah Azza wa Jal. Have we covered this last week? Yeah. We've covered, okay. طيب. Let's go to the hadith. وفي الصحيح عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال, this hadith طارق بن أشيم أنه قال من قال لا إله إلا الله وكفر بما يعبد من دون الله حرم ماله ودمه وحسابه على الله عز وجل. The Prophet said in the hadith في الصحيح in Bukhari that Prophet said that whoever says La ilaha illallah and he disbelieves anything worship beside Allah Azza wa Jal, حرم ماله ودمه وحسابه على الله عز وجل, then his wealth, his blood, okay, becomes haram, and the hisab is with Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, here we've learned, the ulama have mentioned that whoever says La ilaha illallah, many hadiths come, whoever says La ilaha illallah tajannah, but then it continues to say وَكَفَرَ بِمَا يُعَدُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ. The ulama says that the second part of the hadith, وَكَفَرَ بِمَا يُعْبَدُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ, is part of La ilaha illallah. Okay? You get this in the Quran a lot. And Allah says in the Quran, مَنْ كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِلَّهِ وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ وَرُسُلِهِ وَجِبْرِيلَ وَمِيكَالَ. Allah talks about this in Baqarah, ayah 98, that whoever becomes enemy to Allah, to his angels, to his messenger, وَجِبْرِيلَ وَمِيكَالَ. Jibreel and Mikail, the Malaika, the two Malaika. Okay, now what do we learn? Allah said, whoever becomes enemy to Allah, wa Malaika. Malaika, within the Malaika, Jibreel and Mikail, isn't it? Jibreel is from Malaika. So why is Allah mention Malaika, then Jibreel again? If Jibreel is from Malaika. Okay, the ulama says it's the importance of Jibreel and Mikail. He mentioned Malaika, then exclusively he mentioned Jibreel and Mikail. Show the importance of those two Malaika. And those two Malaika are the leaders of the Malaika, Jibreel and Mikail. Okay? So, Jibreel is from Malaika, so is Mikail. And you have in the Quran, Allah said, حافظوا على الصلوات والصلاة الأسطى. Preserve your salawat and the middle prayer. So, the ulama says the middle prayer is the Asr prayer. Okay? So why would Allah say preserve your salawat And the middle prayer again, to show the importance of middle prayer, which is the Asr prayer. Okay, there are many hadiths specifically about Asr, that whoever misses Asr prayer surely has missed, surely has lost wealth, everything. It's like lost everything. Okay, his family, his wealth, everything, to miss Asr. Okay, so that's the reward you lose for not praying Asr. So we should not miss Asr. But obviously you have to pray 5 times a day, but priority given to the Asr prayer, because the middle Salah. So like this, the Shaykh says that Man qala la ilaha illallah, because la ilaha illallah is affirmation negation, isn't it? It's got affirmation negation. Then again our Prophet mentioned wa kafara bima yu'badu min dunillah, negation as well. They say this negation is part of la ilaha illallah. He is mentioning twice to show the importance of it, importance of negation as well. So this is kufr bi taghut. فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِالطَّاغُوتِ, that's kufr here, is to disbelieve anything worship beside Allah Azza wa Jal. Kufr bil-taghut. If the person does that, my brothers and sisters, then what happens? He becomes Muslim, isn't it? حَرُمَ مَالُهُ وَدَمُهُ وَحِسَابُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَ. His mal, his wealth, and his blood becomes haram. Now you know something about blood and something about wealth. We have muhafazat, ضروريات خمسة, ضروريات, 5 important preservation of our deen. That's quoted with the law. Okay, I'm mentioning again. It's good to mention is that what are the 5 preservation of our deen? We preserve our Islam, our iman, shows that we learn about Islam, practice our deen, worship Allah. Okay, learn the knowledge from the right people. Don't become mubtadi'. We don't follow bid'ah. We don't follow shirk. We follow Quran and Sunnah. We worship Allah at-Tawheed. That's the deen. Preserving your deen. Then preserving your mal, wealth. So any country you live in, society you live in, under any law, they should give preservation of your wealth. So what is the punishment? If you steal, you get hand cut off. Because to show that do not steal. People's wealth shouldn't be steal. Okay? And the reason Allah made this legislation, cutting the hand, is to preserve the society, to bring peace in the society. Islam here for Islam, benefit. Okay, don't do it. You do it, this is the consequences you're going to get. And wallahi, if that happens, then you can leave the shop and go home and sleep and come back, everything is there. You know? So nowadays you don't get that. So Allah made this hukum for justice, for a hikmah behind that. Okay, so preservation of the wealth. And the preservation is that everyone's wealth should be preserved. No one can steal their wealth. And if that is the case, then that's where the legislation of Allah comes, the capital punishment. The second one is the dam, the blood. You know, there's so many narrations that says that, some says that first thing will be judged, salah. Some hadith says first thing will be judged is your blood, your murder. Murder is the first thing Allah will take accountable of, Yawm al-Qiyamah. So Allah made dam haram for the believers. So what happened if someone were to murder? That he should be likewise taking his life. If you murder somebody, the capital punishment will come down on you. Dam. Maluhu wa damhu wa irduhu. Ird, they say nasabuhu. The nasab is like, for example, if you fornicate, okay, if you fornicate, then you should be stoned to death. Okay, you should be stoned to death. And if you're not married, then you should be lashed. So it is to protect the honor, lineage. Okay, irduhu, honor is to get married. You get married, and this is the halal way. And if you to dishonor yourself, to fall into zina, and in such cases, in the Islamic Sharia, to prevent that dishonor is to lash the person or stone to the person, depending if he's married or not married. So his nasab, okay? Some say id, some say nasab. And the last one is to understand that, yeah? So to honor, to protect the nasab, the lineage, is that if you fornicate, you're stoned to death or you're lashed, okay? So you don't fornicate. This is what it is. Okay, you get married. So Islam came to protect that, the lineage. And the last one is the aql. You preserve the aql. So what is made haram to preserve the aql? Allah made what haram? Khamr. Allah made khamr haram. Because if you drink khamr, if you drink alcohol, it takes your aql away. Okay? And so Allah made it haram. Even though there is a maslaha in khamr, they say, Ibn Kathir mentioned that if you drink khamr, alcohol, it digests your food. But mafsada is great, harm is great, that's what Allah made. Khamr haram, alcohol haram, because it messes up your intellect. طيب, so these are daruriyat, these are 5 preservation of our life in a deen. And some of the ulama said that any laws don't have these 5, any of these, the law is messed up. Except Islam has it. Islam come with this preservation of these 5. Allahu Akbar. طيب, so this hadith, Iman billah, kufr bi taghut. This tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. Whoever says La ilaha illallah, negation, affirmation, and disbelieve and if you worship other than Allah Azza wa Jal, then he becomes Muslim, okay? Then his blood and his wealth becomes haram, okay? And the hisab is with Allah Azza wa Jal. What does hisab here mean? That if a person were to say La ilaha illallah, okay, you hear him say La ilaha illallah, we judge him as a Muslim. Okay, you can say, brother, I know what's in your heart, you know saying properly. You're not Muslim, a'udhu billah. We take him as a Muslim, we pray behind him. If he dies, we pray his janazah. But hisab is with Allah, meaning Allah knows what is in his heart. Allah will judge him yawm al-qiyamah. Okay? So this ayah, this hadith is tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. You can see that, mashallah. So this is the expression of tawheed. Tayyib. Alhamdulillah, we finished the chapter, the 6 chapters, actually 5th, but the first one Shaykh doesn't give chapter heading. Tayyib. So we've covered Tawheed of Allah, Kitab at-Tawheed. Yeah? We gave all the evidences. Then the second one was virtue of Tawheed and what expiates your sins. Third one is what? Is who fulfills Tawheed will enter Jannah without an hijab. The 5th is fearing the shirk. Okay? 4th. The 5th is dua ila shahada la ilaha illallah, giving da'wah to la ilaha illallah, shahada la ilaha illallah. The 6th is tafsir of Tawheed wa la ilaha illallah. We covered that today. So we covered Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal, all this in 6 chapters, okay, 5 chapters. Now today inshallah we talk about, we're going to go into shirk now, type of shirk. Now, question comes now, if someone were to say, this is Kitab at-Tawheed, okay, Tawheed. So why is that you learn Tawheed first, then go into shirk? Shirk is Tawheed. Understand? Shirk is not Tawheed. How come he's talking about shirk now? We say, my brother, Tawheed consists of 2 things, negation and affirmation. So we learn the affirmation first, what is Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now we're going to learn what nullifies your Tawheed. So it is not enough just to learn about Tawheed. You have to learn the opposite, which is shirk. You learn Sunnah, what is Bid'ah, okay, things like that. So today we're going to talk about shirk. Bab min al-shirk, labsul halqa wal khayt wa nahwihima lidaf al-bala wa daf'ihi. Chapter about shirk, wearing amulet, wearing thread, all this to remove the calamities that person goes through. So today, inshallah, we'll talk about amulet and things like that, what is the ruling, if we have a time. But today, I want to concentrate on about shirk, but different type of shirk. And this is a good book, mashallah, to go through. Today, inshallah, we'll talk about aqsam al-shirk. Now we covered what shirk is, isn't it? Let me just go over it. Shirk is, first of all, the shirk in the hadith, it comes like this. Hadith Ibn Masud radiallahu anhu, when he asked Prophet ﷺ, I think, and he said, what is shirk? And Prophet said, shirk is أن يجعلوا لله ندا وهو خلقك, to make partners with Allah who created you. That's one of the definitions we take from the hadith. Prophet explained what shirk is. And many ways you can make partners with Allah. And Shaykhul-Islam al-Wahhab rahimahullah, another definition of shirk, he says, الشرك هو دعوة غير معه, to involve other than Allah, to call other than Allah, to worship other than Allah is shirk. Now let's go and let me mention, inshallah, the 50. There's so many type of shirk, but if you go this, you'll enjoy this. أقسام الشرك كثيرة ذكرت منها 15 نوعا وهي. Category of shirk are many. The 15 we'll mention here now. First is shirkul fi rububiyyah. Shirk fi rububiyyah. Shirk in rububiyyah of Allah Azza wa Jal. Tawheed al-rububiyyah. What is rububiyyah? We covered it. Let's go over it again, inshallah. Tawheed al-rububiyyah, basically to make Allah one, that He is the only creator, He is the provider, He is the sustainer, He is the one who can benefit and harm, He is the one who can cure you, He is the one who gives life and death, He is the controller, He is the owner of the heaven and earth. This is what Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is. This is Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? He controls the heaven and earth. He owns the heaven and the earth. Now, what is the shirk in Rububiyyah? Shaykhul-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah said, regarding shirk fi rububiyyah, he said, فالشرك في الربوبية فإن الرب سبحانه وتعالى هو المالك والمدبر المعطي المانع الضار النافع الخافض الرافع. Okay, it goes on. فمن شهد أن المعطي أو مانع أو ضار أو نافع غير الله غيره فقد أشرك في ربوبيته. This is Majul Fatawa. He said that shirk in rububiyyah, shirk in Allah's lordship, is that indeed Allah is Ar-Rabb. He is the king, He is the controller, He is the one giver, He is the one preventer, He is the one who can harm you, benefit you, bring you down and raise you. Part of rububiyyah of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? And whoever believes other than Allah is the one who gives, prevent, withhold, harm or benefit, then he has committed shirk in rububiyyah of Allah. Okay? So also to believe there's a creator other than Allah who created heaven and the earth. Like Majus. You know Majus, have you heard of Majus? Qadariyah are the Majus of this ummah. Okay? Ibn Umar, Hadith Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu. Al-Majus has al-ummah Qadariyah. Prophet said that Qadariyah are the Majus of this ummah. Majus, they believe that there are two Rabb. There are two Lord of the heaven and the earth. One is good, one is bad. Okay? So the good Rabb, the good Lord, He creates things are good, and the bad Lord creates things are bad. Okay? That's what the Majus believe. Yadu billah. So, first of all, if you believe that, you believe there is a likeness to Allah. There is another Rabb beside Allah. So Allah is not Allah anymore. Giving likeness to Allah in rububiyyah, that's shirk billah azza wa jal. Okay, and we say, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ, there's nothing like Allah. So that's shirk in rububiyyah. To believe there's a creator along with Allah, okay, creator of the heaven and the earth, or to believe or to deny Allah the creator, or somebody else is the creator of heaven and earth. Some Sufis believe that the ulama, their ulama have control of the stars and the moon. They give this authority to Allah, authority of Allah to the creation. This is shirk in rububiyyah. Okay? So anything like that, that is shirk in rububiyyah of Allah Azza wa Jal. Shirk in Allah's lordship. Subhanallah. So that's major shirk. Okay, that's major shirk. Next one is shirk fil uluhiyyah. And that we don't have to tell you this. We know what shirk in uluhiyyah is. To worship anything other than Allah Azza wa Jal. What is uluhiyyah? Ifradullah bil ibadah. To make Allah one in His worship. So what is the shirk? Is to worship anything beside Allah. Okay? To worship anything beside Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? To slaughter anything other than Allah. To make dua other than Allah. To, anything like that, istighatha, isti'adha, nazar, or anything like this. If you turn other Allah Azza wa Jal, it is any worship, is turn other than Allah, is shirk billah Azza wa Jal. Shirk in uluhiyyah. Shirk fil uluhiyyah, na'am. We covered this anyway. The third type of shirk, my brothers and sisters, shirk fil asma'i was sifat. Shirk in Allah's names and attributes. Okay? Again, I'm sure you know that. We said asma wa sifat is to describe Allah the way He described Himself and the way Prophet described in the Sunnah. Okay? So Allah has attributes, so we have attributes. Like Allah hears, He sees, He speaks, He has knowledge. We affirm all Allah has mahabba, Allah has wrath. All these Allah creates. These are attributes of Allah Azza wa Jal. If we say now, Allah sees like the creation, Allah hears like creation, Allah speaks like creation, then we have make Allah like the creation in attributes. Or if you give other way around, if you say, the creation hears like Allah, or creation speaks like Allah, yadu billah, we have made shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal in names and attributes. But most likely the other way, to say Allah speaks, hears, Allah's attributes like the attributes of the creation. He speaks, He hears, He has knowledge, like the creation, yadu billah. Okay, so even though Allah has attributes that we find in the creation as well, like speaking, hearing, knowledge, mahabba, okay, all these attributes you find in Allah and you find in the creation as well, mushtarika. But the sifat of Allah in terms of degree is different, but the name is same. Allah hears, I hear, we hear. Allah has a hearing attributes, we have hearing attributes, but our hearing is not like the hearing of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah has knowledge, we have knowledge, but our knowledge is not like knowledge of Allah. Okay? But for someone to say Allah's knowledge is like our knowledge, meaning that whatever knowledge Allah has, I have it, or whatever knowledge I have, Allah has it, then you made shirk with Allah Azza wa Jal in names and attributes. But certain attributes, okay, khas for the human, not for Allah Azza wa Jal. For example, sleeping, eating, forgetfulness, death, tiredness. These attributes khas for the human being, specifically for the human being. You can't give it to Allah. Okay, you can't give it to Allah Azza wa Jal. So shirk in asma sifat is to say that Allah's attributes is like the attributes of the creation. Okay, that He hears and sees like the creation. Yadu billah. So that's shirk fi asma sifat. We'll cover this more in wasatiyah inshallah. If Allah gives tawfiq. So all this is shirkul akbar. Shirkul akbar is all of this and more. Okay, shirkul asghar is, we spoke about shirk in like riya, showing off. Showing off is one of the shirkul khafi, some of the ulama says, but it is minor shirk, which is to show off with a good deed, to please the human being, things like that. Then this is shirk in minor shirk, which it doesn't take out the full of Islam, but it is still a shirk. Some of the hadith, Prophet said that hadith Jundub bin Abdullah, the Prophet said that man samma'a samma'a Allahu bih, wa man yura'a yura'u Allahu bih. That this is showing off basically. Whoever wants to be heard, Allah will make it here. Like if you want Quran to be heard by the people say, MashaAllah, if that's what you want, Allah will make it hear it. وَمَنْ يُرَاءَ, whoever wants to be seen, Allah will cause him to see. If you want people to see, your a'mal, your sadaqah, you're giving sadaqah, you want people to see it and say, MashaAllah, whatever you're doing, you're teaching, you want people to see it and say, MashaAllah, yadu billah. If you seek in that, Allah will allow that to happen, yadu billah. So this is showing off as well. Another hadith, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, قال صلى الله عليه وسلم الشرك الخفي أن يعمل رجل لمكان رجل. Raw Ibn Majah. Hadith authentic that hidden shirk is a person who does an action for somebody else. That's hidden shirk. So these are minor shirk, these are riya, showing off, and so some of the ulama says major shirk, minor shirk, and hidden shirk. But hidden shirk is minor shirk. So this is shirkul khafi, hidden shirk, or riya, you can say that as well. So that's another type of shirk. Then you go shirk i'tiqadi. Shirk fil i'tiqad, shirk in belief. To believe certain things. They believe Allah everywhere. To believe Allah everywhere is shirk. To believe Quran is created, yadu billah. To believe you can make sajda to idols, you can call on idols or things like that. Shirk al-i'tiqad, to believe that. So shirk al-i'tiqad, shirk al-belief relate to things in your belief, what you believe in your heart about Allah. Okay? To believe that other than Allah, someone is providing me. Other than Allah, someone is, He gave me life and will give me death as well. Other than Allah. Okay? So this is shirk in belief. To believe Rasulullah is the last prophet. That's shirk li-i'tiqad or kufr shirkiyah. So Thus, anything related to your belief. To believe anything like that is shirk, kufr. Na'am. The next one is shirk al-amali. Shirk amal. Shirk that relates to your amal. Not only belief, your amal as well. And that is to make sajda other than Allah. Is shirk. Okay? To make sajda to idol, to jinn, to prophet, to saint. Shirk amali. Okay? Shirk amali, different categories. Some shirk amali will take you out of all of Islam. The shirk making sajda to idol, any creation. Shirk al-amali also refers wearing amulet. We'll cover this inshallah. Wearing amulet is shirk. And it could be major, it could be minor. I think aslan is minor shirk. Wearing amulet is minor shirk. But if someone were to wear amulet, okay, and he believes Allah is the protector, the curer, okay, but I believe that's the reason, that's the asbab, through that, then that's minor shirk. Because that has no reaction to your cureness anyway. Because amulets are not used for asbab. Amulets are not used for cure. Quran is used, things like that. But if someone says amulet is the curer, it's going to cure me, it's the protector, then it's major shirk. So it can be any of these. So shirk amali that take out the fold of Islam. Shirk amali, some will not take out the fold of Islam. Because shirkul lafzi, lafz, alfaz, like mashallah wa shit, lawla Allah wa ant. If it wasn't for Allah or you, these are minor shirk. Some ulama say some shirkul lafzi will take out the fold of Islam, some will not take out the fold of Islam. So these mashallah wa shit, whatever Allah wills and you, this is minor shirk. But Prophet said to the man, mashallah thumma shit. Thumma separates. Wow, if you say wow, wa shit mean you made Allah like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam together, yadu billah. So that's shirkul lafzi, okay, you uttering. Or to say ala Allah wa alayk, tawakkaltu ala Allah wa alayk, I've trusted you and I trusted Allah and you, wa alayk. The wow here, that's what caused the problem. Thumma alayk, okay. Lawla Allah wa fulan. If it wasn't Allah, if it wasn't for Allah and you, that's shirk lafzi, okay. We use this word a lot. It comes out like sometime in business. If it wasn't for Allah and you, if it was for Allah and you sitting here, someone said things I've heard. Subhanallah, they don't realize what they're saying, but it is shirk, you know. So, but these are minor shirk. So, some of this statement like this is minor shirk. Okay. Now that's shirkul lafzi. So we have to be careful. Like for example, big mistake people make. You know, oh, this happened, my car crashed. Oh, I wish I went other way. You know, I wish if I never came this went other way, that would have not happened. Big statement this is. It's qadr of Allah. It's written for you to happen this. You know, you can't change that. So shirkul lafzi is what you utter. Like for example, a man, on his way, wherever he's going, in the desert, he had camel and he lost everything. The man sitting under a tree, waiting for Malakul Maut to come and take his soul. Okay? So what happened? His camel comes. He found everything. What does he say? Anta abdu ana rabbu. Something like he said, you're my slave, I'm your Lord. To Allah. Allah knows he was so happy and he said it, he's forgiven. One of the barrier, one of the reasons he can't make takfir, because he's so happy, out of happy, he says something, statement is kufr. So Allah forgave him. So this is shirk lafzi. It's uttering with the lafz. Okay? Also, you know the man who did a lot of sins. And he committed so much sins, and he said to the kids, if I die, okay, burn my body and throw my ashes away. وَإِن قَدَرَ اللَّهُ, okay, سَيُعَذِّبُنِي لَمْ يُعَذِّبَ أَحَدٍ مِنْ خَلْقٍ. That if Allah able to take me back again, if Allah is able to resurrect me, He will punish me, nobody ever, so much that no one can punish me like that. Why is the shirk? What's the kufr? In qadar Allah, if Allah wills. That's a kufr statement. But he was ignorant man, Allah forgave him. Allah caused the ash to come back, and ash came back. And Allah said, what do you do that? He said, oh Allah, because of your fear. I feared you. Allah forgave him. But in Qadar Allah, this kufr statement, if Allah will, if Allah able to, who's is able to? You doubting his qudra. So that was kufr statement, lafziyah. But Allah forgave him. What was the reason Allah forgave him? Because one, he feared Allah, no doubt. And secondly, he was ignorant man. So one of the things is ignorant. If a man is ignorant and commits shirk, then he's forgiven. Because knowledge never came to him, he's forgiven. Because he never did it based on knowledge. Okay? Many other things, like if he's forced to commit a kufr, if he's forced and he believes the kufr, then he's forgiven. Like Ammar bin Yasir was forced to commit kufr. That is, he is forced to curse Rasulullah to save his life. He cursed Rasulullah and he went to Rasulullah and said, Ya Rasul, I did this. Prophet said, well, how was your heart, your Ammar? He said, my heart was, Iman was same as before. إِذَا عَادُ فَعُودُ. If they come back to you again, then curse me again. Just to save your life. But you don't believe it. So these are some of the reasons why you can do act of kufr. Is if you're ignorant, you're forgiven. If you're forced to save your life, daruriyah. Okay? So these are things, so that's kufr lafzi. Shirk lafzi, anything to do with utterness. Okay? Shirkul lafzi can be major, can be minor. طيب. Shirk al-tashri' wal-hakamiyah. Shirk legislation. Shirk legislation. Okay, we covered the ayah, but I'm going to read the ayah again, inshaAllah. Allah said, اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله. Okay, they've taken their ahbar. Ahbar are the ulama. Hibr. Okay, they've taken the ulama وَرُهْبَانَهُمْ. Ruhban is ubbad, worshippers. Okay, Lord beside Allah. How did they take Lord beside Allah? Prophet ﷺ, he read this ayah to Adi bin Hatim. Adi was a Jew. This time he was Muslim. So Adi said, لَمْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهِ يَا رَسُولُ لَمْ يَعْبُدُهُمْ. So when he heard the ayah, he said, Ya Rasul, they didn't worship them. Either the scholars and the ubbad. The Prophet said, أَحَلُّ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهِ وَحَرَّمُوا مَا حَلَّ اللَّهِ. Okay, they made halal what Allah made haram, and they made haram what Allah made halal. فَذَاكَ عِبَادَتُهُمْ. And that is their worship. Okay, so here we learn is that the Lord that they have taken beside Allah, that they followed in halal and haram. Okay, so when the monks, the rabbis, they made halal into haram, haram into halal, the Jews followed them. The Jews followed them. So the Prophet said, your worship doesn't mean just worshipping an idol, go making dua to them or making sajda to them. La. Also, ibadah was that they followed the monks and the rabbis in that. And whenever they made halal into haram, haram into halal, they followed them. So if they followed them, you made Lord beside Allah. You have made Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jal. Now the ulama says that when you follow them in that halal and haram, this there are two shirk in this. There are two shirk. Shirk fit tashri', shirk fit ta'a. Shirk in legislation. That relate to the rulers. Okay? So they say now, okay, alcohol is halal. I made it halal. If the ruler makes it halal, okay, based on knowledge, he believes it's halal, he says it's halal, I made it halal, or believes it's halal, the ruler is kafir. Okay? But if the ruler makes the khamr not halal, but he allows it to happen, okay, he allows it to happen in society, that he doesn't believe it's halal, but he is not kafir. Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen says, he talks about istihlal. Istihlal is to believe to believe a sin is halal for you. To believe it's halal. You don't have to utter it, just to believe it. Okay? So Shaykh gives an example. So Shaykh says that if someone makes riba or khamr, okay, if he does the sin and he believes in his heart is halal, then he's a kafir. But if he does the sin, okay, and he persisted on the sin, but he doesn't believe it is halal, he's not kafir, but he's committing major sins. Okay, but then Shaykh pointed out is that certain major sin, certain shirk, if you do a'maliyah, related to action, can be integrated the whole of Islam. For example, making sajda to idols and things like that. Shaykh ibn Uthaymin, generally the scholars of Najdi, they don't see excuse in uluhiyah. If you make sajda to idol, you're kafir. If you make sajda to prophet or righteous, you're kafir. But the other side to that is udhr bil jahl. Excuse for ignorance is there as well. But this is another topic anyway. But the Shaykh says that if someone does an act and he believes in his heart is halal, then a person is kafir. If someone does an act, okay, major sin, okay, but he doesn't believe it is halal, okay, but he's just doing it, then it is not he's not a kafir, he's still a Muslim, but he's doing major sin. So the ulama said, istihlal, believing action, believing sins, major sin to be halal, are two types. There's the istihlal i'tiqadiyah and istihlal amaliyah. From the Shaykh Ibn Uthaymin's statement is that someone does major sin, he drinks alcohol, he takes interest, he does all these major sin, and he believes it is halal, then it's kafir. That's i'tiqadiyah. Istihlal amaliyah is that he doesn't believe it is halal, but he just does it, mustamir, he's continuous, persistent on the major sin. He doesn't stop. So he made it halal in amaliyah, in action. He's like, it's okay for me, I'm doing it. He doesn't care. He's committing the sin, subhanallah. So there's istihlal that relates to your belief, and istihlal that relates to action. So differentiate those two types of istihlal. What does istihlal mean? To make something halal, to believe something halal. And if someone were to continue to commit the major sin all the time, it's like he made it halal. The hadith of Prophet said that there will come a time from my ummah, there will be people who will make things halal, okay, which is zina, fornication, drinking alcohol, music. It's like they're going to make it halal. So Shaykh explained, Shaykh Saleh explained it. He said that what it means is that it's the halal amaliyah. They do it so much, they don't believe it is halal, but they're persistent in that action, in the sins. It's like halal for them. It's like halal for them. So istihlal here means to believe a sin, a major sin is halal for you. So here, shirk fi tashri' here is related to the ahbar or ruhban, meaning the rulers and the scholars and the ubbad who makes major things halal for them. Okay, they make things halal for them. That's shirk in tashri'. If they believe it is halal, then khalas, they're out of all of Islam. And shirk fi ta'a, that including there, is that that relates to the public. If the public follow them in that, okay, and they follow it out of force, they're forced to follow it, then they're okay. They're not okay, but they're not kafir. But if they follow it out of their own accordance, and they say we believe what the ruler says, or the scholars said, the evil scholars, we believe it, we have no force, we believe it, then the ruler can fall into under this banner. They can be out of all of Islam as well. So remember this, inshallah. Shirk in legislation is related to the rulers. When they legislate things, okay, make things, halal into haram, haram into halal, they do these things and they believe it, then shirk. If they don't believe it, there's no shirk. Because we made istihlal two types in it, belief and action. And tashri' fi ta'a, or shirk fi ta'a is that, is the people following the tahlil and tahrim. Okay, and there are two types. If they're forced, they are not kafir. But if they accordingly accept it, I believe it's halal. If the ruler says halal alcohol, I believe it. I'm not forced. I know it. I accept it. And he's got intellect. He's baligh. He understands. All this comes in there. Then the person becomes out of fold of Islam. Remember, because when you declare somebody to be a kafir, there are things which can consider as well. The condition is he baligh? Has he reached the puberty? Has he got aql? Has he intellect? Or is he a madman? Or is he forced? All these things have come into it before they make takfir on that person. Okay, so we have to take these things in consideration, the conditions of takfir, okay, the mawani. There could be barriers, okay, that prevent the person to be kafir. Maybe he doesn't know, he's ignorant man, he's following the rulers blindly, he doesn't know, he has knowledge of the deen, just saying if the ruler says halal, I mean, accept it, it's halal. But he could be a jahil, ignorant man. In that sense, then you can't call him a kafir, you can't. So shirk fi tashri' and shirk fi ta'a is this, related to rulers and the people in the public who follow their way, okay? Shirk fi mahabba is that we've covered it. ومن الناس من يتخذ من دون الأندادا يحبونهم كحب الله. That shirk fi ta'a is that shirk fi mahabba is that to take someone beloved as much as you love Allah, or takes to love somebody more than Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, that's shirk fil mahabba. But mahabba are different types of mahabba. If you want me to just mention them to you, mahabba, the different level of mahabba. I'm just going to go over it. The scholars have mentioned. Where is it? Anyway, khalas, but basically what it is, the Shaykh brings different categories of shirk. So shirk mahabba, the different level of mahabba, we mentioned mahabba, natural love, the mahabba which is worship, mahabba which is shirk, different type of mahabba we have. Okay, the next one, shirk al-khawf wal-khashiyah, shirk in fear, and we covered this as well, different type of shirk. Shirk in fear is that that could be major, could be minor, and there's a natural fear as well, that doesn't fall into that. Major shirk in khawf, shirk fil khawf, for example, shirk in fear, for example, to fear other than Allah, to fear somebody more than Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, to fear man in the grave or something like that he can harm you more than Allah or something like that. Shirk fil khawf, fearing somebody more than Allah. But natural fear is something, you fear a snake or a lion or tiger or someone chasing you, I don't know, group of them. That's a natural fear that you have. Musa alayhi salam had the natural fear, Fir'aun and his people. So that's a natural fear, okay. But shirk in fear, it could be, is that you fear somebody more than Allah Azza wa Jal. Shirk in intention is that that could be that your intention is not for Allah. You're seeking pleasure from the people. You're seeking praise from the people. Your intention is to worship, to please the human being or something like that. You're giving the sadaqah to please the people. So this is shirk in qasd wal irada, your intention, things like that. And my intention is not to please Allah Azza wa Jal. I'm going to Hajj, to become Haji Sahib. People call me Hajj or Hajju, to get a title, something like that. So Hajj is not for Allah, it's for the people. So that's shirk in your intention. Qasd is intention. Allah said, فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ فَلْيَعْمَلْ عَمَلًا صَالِحًا وَلَا يُشْرِكْ بِعِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِ أَحَدًا. Whoever wishes to meet his Lord, let him do righteous action. That is following Quran and Sunnah. وَلَا يُشْرِكْ بِعِبَادَةِ رَبِّهِ أَحَدًا. And let him not make shirk with Allah. Let him not make shirk with Allah in his worship. That is ikhlas. Okay? So here clearly Allah mentioned in the Quran regarding shirk fil qasd. So this shirk could be major shirk, could be shirk showing off, shirk in intention, could be any of these. All of them, covered all of them. We have covered the hadith. Allah said that أنا أغنى شركاء عن الشرك من عمل عملا أشرك فيه معي غيري تركت وشركه. That I am self-sufficient from those associated who associate me in worship. I will leave his action and I will leave everything to him. Okay, and his shirk, I will leave. So those who commit shirk with me, I will leave his shirk and I will leave him. Okay, so Allah is free from that. Allah is free from that. That's shirk ماذا في الإرادة والقصد. Shirk in intention and will is that you intend to please the human being, not Allah. إنما الأعمال بالنية. Indeed, action judged by intention, and indeed you get what you intended for. That's about intention, shirk in intention. Naam. Then the next one, shirk al-ta'a. Shirk al-ta'a is shirk in obedience. We give example of that. اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم من دون الله. They've taken their ulama, the monks and the rabbis, Lord beside Allah Azza wa Jal. That is shirk fi ta'a. Also shirk in legislation as well. But shirk fi ta'a will be the people who follow the rulers. The people follow the rulers. Whatever the ruler says, he makes halal into haram, haram into halal. People just follow them. Yadu billah. Okay. For example, the ruler says, man can marry man, woman can marry woman, no problem. Public says, I'll do that. If the ruler says that, I'll follow him. You blindly following him. And if he says, I believe it, it's halal because he made it halal, then the person who's saying it, if he's got brain, intellect, he's baligh, he's aqil, okay, he has knowledge, he's saying with knowledge, then the person is kafir if he's Muslim. Yeah. So, shirk al-ta'a relate to the public following the rulers. And whatever ruler says, they follow it. Yadu billah. Then that's shirk, yeah. Where the believers will say, La, a'udhu billah. We don't follow in these things. It's haram. You know? That's shirk fi ta'a. Shirk fi da'wah. Shirk in dua, in invocation. When we're making dua, and we know what it is. To invoke other than Allah Azza wa Jal. وَمَنْ يَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ لَا بُرْهَانَ لَهُ بِهِ فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ فَإِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. That whoever makes dua other than Allah, and he has no evidence in that. So those who make dua other than Allah, calling malaika, calling prophets and righteous, they have no evidence with them. فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ. The hisab will be with Allah Azza wa Jal. فَإِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. And the kafirun will have no success. Okay? This ayah shows that to make dua other than Allah, you are kafir. Because Allah ends the verse with kafirun. Okay? So making dua other than Allah, shirk al-dua. Shirk fi dua. Okay? وَأَنَّ الْمَسَاجِدَ لِلَّهِ فَلَا تَدْعُوا مَعَ اللَّهِ أَحَدًا. And the masajid is for Allah, so do not make dua, do not invoke other than Allah. There are many verses in the Quran where Allah forbade making dua other than Him. But dua, different types of dua. Dua which is allowed, dua which is not allowed. Dua which is allowed, the person is making dua to, that he is hadir, is front of you. Qadir, able to help you, and he's high. We study in the Umdah, isn't it? فَدَعَا بِمَا. Prophet called for the water. He called for the water. So this dua here means it's allowed because the person he called was front of him, he's able to help him, and he was high, he was alive. Okay? So you can make dua other than Allah if the person is hadir, is front of you, is qadir, is able to help you, and he's hayyun, that he's alive. Okay? These are three conditions of making dua other than Allah Azza wa Jal. But when Allah forbade not to make dua other than Allah, things which no one can help you except Allah. Okay? So also remember dua two types. Dua al-ibadah, dua al-mas'ala, dua that relate to worship. That is only for Allah. That you invoke Allah, you call on Allah, you only seek the reward from Allah Azza wa Jal. That's only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Dua al-mas'ala, some for Allah, some for other than Allah. Some for Allah, which is only Allah can help you. Okay? Mas'ala, you have a cancer, your family member has a cancer, you only hope for Allah. You only ask Allah to cure that person. You make dua to Allah for your need, that Allah cure that person. Not doctor, doesn't matter how big doctor he is. It's just a mean. Allah is the one who will purify or cure the person. Okay? Dua mas'ala is something that you can ask other than Allah, that we have covered now. Dua bima. Prophet called for water. Okay, that's allowed because the condition fulfilled. So dua other than Allah, my brothers and sisters, you can make as long as you fulfill the condition. Okay? And that's 15 type of shirk we have mentioned, inshallah. And Ibn al-Qayyim says, okay, he said, Ibn al-Qayyim, in which book is it? There's a mention the name of the book. Madaraj al-Salikin. Ibn al-Qayyim says, وَالشِّرْكِ أَنْوَاء كَثِيرًا لَا يُحْصِيهَا إِلَّا اللَّهِ. ولو ذهبنا نذكر أنواع لا تسع كلام عظم اتساع لعل الله أن يساعد بوضع الكتاب فيه. Or basically saying that Ibn al-Qayyim, shirk are many types. You're not able to count the numbers of shirk. Okay? If you were to go and mention all of them, you can't finish speaking about it. It's so many type of shirk. So many forms of shirk. The Ibn al-Qayyim mentions. So this is Madarajut Salikin, he mentioned this. So this is some of the shirk we have mentioned, but the scholars have summarized it, major and minor shirk. Okay, all of these fall under either major or minor. Okay, and shirk al-khafi is there, but these are number of shirk we have covered today. So remember them inshallah much as you can. Next we'll go into the chapter which is talking about the amulet and things like that, how Rasulullah forbade. And this is predominantly in a Bengali communities there were amulet. We have to inshallah tackle this next week and get rid of this shirk in the community. Jazakumullah khair. Any question, inshallah, I'll take it now. Any clarification?
This is like kind of a general kind of question. Do you know people when they do martial arts, they bow to their sensei, they bow to each other? I've heard a couple of things like regarding it, but is there anything you can say?
Mashallah, very good question. The question is, when you do martial arts, okay, I know the people bow to their teacher when they come in and when they leave, and the teacher make them bow as well. Okay, now bowing, the scholars asked these questions, and they explained it. Bowing is two types. Okay, bowing is two types. One is, there was a time when bowing was allowed, sajda was allowed, other than Allah, as a ihtiram, as a respect. It was allowed one time. And I'll give you an example. Adam alayhi salam, when Allah Azza wa Jalla said to Malaika, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. Remember when Allah said to the Malaika, make sajda to Adam, they all did except Iblis. This sajda they made to Adam was sajdatul ihtiram. This is respectful sajda or bowing here. They made, okay, and that was allowed in those days. Yusuf alayhi salam, everyone, mom and dad, brother, they fell down in front of Yusuf alayhi salam. That was the ihtiram, the respect. Mu'adh, that Shaykh said, we all know that. Shaykh Sa'ad al-Shitri was asked. He said that was allowed then. Now it's mansukha. This is abrogated now. You can't do it now. Okay, Mu'adh made it sajda to Rasulullah not as an ibadah, as a respect. What did he say? Ya Rasulullah, I went to Sham or Kufa, so people make it sajda to idol. You're better than idol. Okay, he's qiyas. Now he's doing it. Okay, so I'm doing sajda to you. You're better than them. Prophet said that's okay then. If you do that respect, no problem. Prophet, it's not allowed. Ya Mu'adh, what are you doing? Because this is abrogated. The Prophet taught you. Did Prophet say, Mu'adh, you're a kafir? La. He didn't know. Mu'adh didn't know. Mu'adh did not continue this after this. He stopped. This is the evidence I use, that if you some sajda to idols, he's not kafir. I use the evidence. A lot of ulama, Shaykh Albani, they use it. Anyway, so Prophet advised Mu'adh. He said not to do that. It's not allowed. And he said, if I were to command anyone to make sajda other than Allah, I will tell the wife to make it to the husband. Okay? So it's not allowed. So that's bowing is not allowed. It's not allowed. Scholars forbade it because it's not allowed because Islam forbids this now. I know brothers, the practicing brothers, they used to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here, and the teacher will not make. He's not going to bow to the teacher. It's forbidden in my faith. I'm not going to do it. I respect you for that. And if you tell him, he respects that. And a lot of people understand that. Yeah, so no, bowing, can't do bowing, inshallah. It's not allowed. So, inshallah, try. And in a community we have people go down, hold the feet and give salam. And it's all against the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Prophet taught assalamu alayka, assalamu alaykum, not holding the feet. So we don't go down like that. So inshallah, bowing is not allowed. La yajuz. Inshallah. Next, any question?
I had this question.
Oh, did I? MashaAllah. That's good. Any? Khalas? Everyone understood the class? Then that's good, mashallah. So we about Abdul Muhsin Abbad was asked. I know I'm going to read it again, but I'm sure that, holding your mother feet and as respect, I think only for your parents, mother, Shaykh praised that. I think, yeah, something to do with the mother. Yeah, holding her feet and the respect, and I think he praised that, some scholars. I'll come back to that as well, but yeah. But generally, we don't do that. It's not from the Sharia. We give salam, assalamu alaikum. That's the what we use. Holding the feet, we should avoid it. The bowing, definitely, we don't do that. Okay, salam.
Wa alaikum assalam.